Does anybody else see the ghost standing at my door? Waiting in the dark like a lion. What's he waiting for?
My dad was conscripted into the army at the beginning of the Second World War, and he joined the Royal Engineers, which is why I thought I'd start the story here, because he spent most of his time constructing these. It's a Bailey Bridge, and they are credited with being one of the most important British inventions of the Second World War. They were invented down in Christchurch, just near Bournemouth, and as you can see, it's still in use. This particular one is made up from 3 panels in each side, making it particularly strong. But each panel was designed to be able to put in the back of a lorry and sort of manhandled by 6 people at a time. And so my dad would have been building these bridges all over France, Germany, and subsequently in Africa. The reason he went into the engineers, I'm guessing, was because when he was conscripted, he'd been working as a kind of office boy in a draftsman's office. And I guess he'd have had an opportunity to do some maths there. But having left school at the age of 14, probably not so much. Anyway, they saw something in him, took him into the Royal Engineers, and he spent most of his time building roads and bridges. He dug a few swimming pools and one thing and another as well. But on the whole, he was in the construction business, and I think he enjoyed it. I don't really know that much about what my dad got up to during the Second World War, though from what he did tell me, I understand that he didn't really see any fighting. I mean, the Royal Engineers would be one of the sort of combat support arms, and so it would be pretty close to the fighting, because obviously you've got to get people to where the action's going on. But as far as I'm aware, he never actually was involved in any sort of close quarters battle or anything. He did refer to at a time when he had to draw his pistol, and the only time he mentioned doing so was to shoot a pig. It kind of begs more questions than answers, really. I mean, I wondered whose pig it was, or why they didn't have any other food, or well, anything really. But yeah, so I think on the whole he managed to avoid being shot at, which is clearly pretty good. And from what I understand, he enjoyed what he was doing. It was clearly something very different from his life in the UK. So one of the stories that always focuses my mind about my dad's time in the army was the fact that after he went to Ripon to do the officer cadet training unit conversion to being an officer, he was then getting prepared to go out to D-Day, and part of the training for that involved doing an assault course. And the night before the assault course, his boots had obviously got very wet, and evidently he had to dry them out on a stove, and this quick drying made them very brittle, so that in one of the jumps he did the following day, his boots cracked and subsequently broke his foot, which meant that he avoided actually landing on the beach during D-Day, which quite plausibly could have saved his life, and indeed allowed mine to happen, which sort of makes you think. He travelled all over Europe. I've definitely got pictures of him here in Tessenderlo in Belgium, and also subsequently in Iserlohn in Germany. Quite what he was doing between those points, I don't know. I need to do some more investigation on that. But you can see from these photos from when he first joined the army, and this one that I believe has been taken around about 1944, maybe 1945. He was a man who's definitely grown up. This is more than just 5 years of age, and I will never know quite what he experienced and quite what he was thinking about. But I have no doubt that his time in the army made a lot of difference to him. He had some knowledge of the army because his dad had been in the First World War, and I suppose he might have spoken to him about it. But really, it was being in the army that set my dad up really for the rest of his life. So, I've got a few artifacts from my dad here. I've got his old watch, which he had been given probably only when he became an officer, actually. I'm not sure whether Zappa he'd have had a watch, but I'm pretty confident it is his. It's got a arrow mark on the back, which means that it's War Department item, GSTP, General Service Timepiece, and the number on the bottom. I'm not sure the number was his number, or whether it was the serial number of the watch. I have actually got his service number somewhere, so maybe we ought to check on that. I've also got here his Royal Engineers cravat, he was very proud of. I'm not quite sure people wear cravats much these days, but it's all silk, and so quite a nice thing. And this is a lot of fun as well. So this is a thing called a Sam Browne, and so this is like a belt with an extra piece that goes across chest, and you can see him wearing it here. So officers wore Sam Browne, wouldn't have had this as a soldier, and it wasn't, I believe, a piece of issued equipment. So my mum told a good story about having to go up to London, possibly someone like Harrods or someone quite extraordinary, to actually buy this belt, which evidently was quite expensive at the time, but she felt really important for him to mark the fact that he had become an officer. And you can see here the reference in the London Gazette. You talked about officers being gazetted, London Gazette being a sort of paper where all official announcements are made, and that's him here. Now I've also got this thing. This is a shaving kit, and I'm not sure if he took this away with him, but it's certainly of that sort of vintage, and it's a very clever piece of kit because it's got on it two pieces of material, and it's all sort of built together. So this is the handle for the razor, and then the really super bit is that the razor, which is here, can be dragged up and down the surface to sharpen it. So you effectively just have one razor all in its own little travel kit, and you take it on your travels, because I guess when you are in the field, whether that's in France, Germany, or subsequently as he was in Africa, your ability to find sharp razors is probably quite limited, and so having something like this with you is the equivalent of having the electric razor of today, I suppose.